Welcome back to the Eurasian Autos channel. Today, an update on the shocking news that American President Biden has announced a 100% tariff on Chinese cars. This aggressive move signals a new chapter in the U.S. China trade war. The White House argues it will protect American jobs and punish unfair trade practices. However, many experts worry about unintended consequences. Will this policy really help American workers, or will it backfire? The tariffs are part of a broader effort to counter China's growing economic influence. The Biden administration, like its predecessor, views China as a serious competitor. They're concerned about Chinese companies undercutting American businesses. The tariffs aim to level the playing field by making Chinese cars more expensive. However, critics argue this will simply raise prices for American consumers. This new policy has sparked a heated debate. Supporters believe it's a necessary step to protect American interests. They argue that China has been playing unfairly for too long. They point to China's history of intellectual property theft and forced technology transfer. They believe these tariffs will finally force China to play by the rules. Opponents of the tariffs argue that they will harm the U.S. economy. They worry about higher prices for consumers and businesses. They also point out that China could retaliate with tariffs of its own. This could hurt American companies that export goods to China. The new tariffs are expected to have a significant impact on both the U.S. and Chinese economies. For American consumers, the most immediate effect will be higher prices for Chinese cars. Chinese automakers have gained popularity in recent years due to their affordability. However, the new tariffs could make them prohibitively expensive for many Americans. This could force them to delay car purchases or buy more expensive American-made vehicles. American automakers might see a short-term boost from the tariffs. With Chinese cars becoming more expensive, consumers might turn to domestic brands. However, this benefit could be short-lived. Chinese automakers are known for their competitive pricing and rapid innovation. They may find ways to absorb some of the tariff costs, limiting the price increase for American consumers. The tariffs could also disrupt the global supply chain for automobiles. Many American automakers rely on parts and components sourced from China. The tariffs could increase the cost of these inputs, making American cars more expensive to produce. This could ultimately harm the competitiveness of the American auto industry. For China, the tariffs represent a significant challenge. The U.S. is a major market for Chinese automakers. Losing access to this market would be a blow to their growth ambitions. China may retaliate with tariffs on American goods, further escalating the trade war. This could harm businesses and consumers on both sides of the Pacific. One of the most surprising reactions to the new tariffs came from Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla. Despite the potential benefits for Tesla, Musk has been a vocal critic of the tariffs. Tesla, as an American electric vehicle manufacturer, could stand to gain from the increased cost of Chinese electric vehicles, EVs. However, Musk understands the interconnected nature of the global auto industry and the potential for unintended consequences. Musk has argued that tariffs are ultimately harmful to everyone. He believes they lead to higher prices for consumers and stifle innovation. He also worries that tariffs could provoke retaliation from China, harming Tesla's operations there. Tesla has a significant presence in China, with a gigafactory in Shanghai producing vehicles for the Chinese market. Musk's opposition to the tariffs highlights the complex economic calculus involved. While Tesla could benefit in the short term, the long-term consequences for the company and the global economy are less clear. Musk's stance reflects a broader understanding of the interconnectedness of global trade. Musk's stance has been met with mixed reactions. Some applaud his willingness to prioritize long-term economic stability over short-term gains. Others criticize him for not supporting policies that could benefit American workers. Musk's position underscores the complex debate surrounding tariffs and their impact on the global economy. Beyond the economic implications, the Biden administration has also raised concerns about cybersecurity risks associated with Chinese cars. There are worries that Chinese automakers could be forced to share data with the Chinese government. This data could include sensitive information about American drivers and their whereabouts. While there's no concrete evidence of Chinese automakers engaging in such activities, the concerns are not entirely unfounded. The Chinese government has a history of using technology companies to collect data on its citizens and foreign nationals. Given the increasing amount of data collected by modern vehicles, the potential for misuse is significant. These concerns are particularly relevant for connected cars, which are becoming increasingly common. Connected cars are equipped with a range of sensors and communication systems that collect and transmit data. This data can be used to improve safety and navigation, but it could also be vulnerable to hacking or government surveillance. The cybersecurity concerns add another layer of complexity to the debate over Chinese cars in the U.S. market. While the economic implications of tariffs are significant, the potential security risks should not be ignored. Addressing these concerns will require a nuanced approach that balances economic interest with national security considerations. One of the less discussed but potentially significant consequences of the new tariff policy is the impact on competition within the U.S. car market. Chinese automakers, while relatively new to the American market, have been making inroads with their competitive pricing and innovative features, particularly in the electric vehicle sector. By making Chinese cars more expensive, the tariffs could stifle this competition. This lack of competition could have several negative consequences for American consumers. Without the pressure of competitive pricing from Chinese automakers, American car companies might have less incentive to lower their prices or innovate at the same pace. This could leave American consumers with fewer choices and higher prices for both traditional and electric vehicles. Moreover, reduced competition could stifle innovation in the rapidly evolving electric vehicle market. Chinese companies have been at the forefront of battery technology and EV manufacturing. Limiting their presence in the U.S. market could slow down the development and adoption of these technologies, ultimately hindering the transition to a more sustainable transportation future. While protecting American jobs is a valid concern, doing so at the expense of competition can have unintended consequences for consumers and the long-term health of the U.S. auto industry. A healthy market requires a balance between supporting domestic industries and fostering competition to drive innovation and affordability. The new tariffs on Chinese cars are just one move in a long game of economic and geopolitical maneuvering between the U.S. and China. While the immediate impact of these tariffs is still unfolding, their long-term effects will depend on how both countries respond in the months and years to come. If history is any indication, a tit-for-tat escalation of tariffs and trade barriers is a likely scenario. This could lead to a protracted trade war, damaging both economies and increasing costs for businesses and consumers worldwide. The uncertainty generated by such a scenario could stifle investment and innovation, further hindering global economic growth. Alternatively, the tariffs could serve as a bargaining chip for the U.S. in broader negotiations with China. The Biden administration might use the tariffs as leverage to address other concerns, such as intellectual property theft or human rights violations. A negotiated solution could lead to a more stable and predictable trade relationship between the two countries. Ultimately, the success or failure of the Biden administration's approach to China will depend on its ability to navigate these complex issues and find areas of cooperation while standing firm on its principles. The stakes are high, and the long-term consequences for the global economy are significant.